Please remain standing for the invocation. May we pray? Dear Lord, it is our privilege to invite you here as our special guest for this commencement program. It is our request that you would bless this graduating class, but more than that, and of first importance, we desire that you would be here with us this evening. Among other things, oh God, we know that it is by your grace that we are here tonight to witness a celebration with those who will be honored. Thank you for the precious gifts of knowledge and discovery. I ask on behalf of those gathered here that you would indeed bless each of these graduates. Give them the grace to make a difference for the good wherever they may find themselves in the years ahead. For those who will pursue further education, grant not only the knowledge that they will need in their chosen fields, but also wisdom to apply that knowledge to life as it really is. For those who will be going directly into the workforce, give a sense of what is right and good and appropriate in the often confusing issues that they will face. For all of these graduates and their families, we ask that they may make a significant contribution to the general welfare of our society. May they especially be a blessing to those whose lives they personally touch. Even now, Lord, while we are here tonight, we ask a special blessing on those in the military. Make us truly grateful for the sacrifices they are making to keep us safe. May they draw courage and strength from you, and may they serve our country and all of humanity with integrity and honor. And now, as I close this prayer, may you be pleased with what is done here this evening. May you, thank you for your presence, and it is in the name of Jesus I pray. Amen. You may be seated.
Good evening. My name is Camille Cochran, and I am the acting president of Jefferson Davis Community College. On behalf of the college, welcome to the 2014 commencement exercises. This is an exciting time as we celebrate the accomplishments of our graduates. Tonight is the highlight of our academic year. For our graduates, it is the end of a chapter of an academic life of hard work and sacrifice, and the beginning of a new chapter and era in their lives. These graduates are here tonight because of the support from others. First, the faculty and staff of Jefferson Davis Community College were instrumental in providing support, and we all owe them thanks for the role they played. This is a special day for them because they take great pride in your accomplishments. I want them to stand to be recognized as we show them our gratitude. Graduates, your family and friends are so very proud of your accomplishments. They have also sacrificed so that you enjoy success tonight. So graduates, please stand to show your support for them. Tonight is your night, and we are going to celebrate your accomplishments. So again, welcome to all.
Good evening. Will you stand and join with us in reciting the pledge? Salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated.
It is my pleasure to introduce you to our speaker tonight, Senator Mark Cahey. Senator Cahey is a lifelong native of Southwest Alabama who was raised in Grove Hill and continues to call it home. He was a baseball player and an academic All-American at one of our sister colleges, Lurleen B. Wallace Community College. Then he went on to earn a business degree from the University of Alabama and graduated from the Cumberland School of Law in 2004. Senator Cahey has served his community in several roles: as a public defender, an assistant district attorney for the First Judicial Circuit Court, and as a private attorney. In 2006, he was elected as the state representative of House District 65. In 2009, he was elected to the District 22 state Senate seat. Senator Cahey was appointed to serve as the minority whip from 2011 to 2013, and then was elected by his caucus to serve as the deputy minority leader. He has served on many legislative committees and chaired the committees of Energy and Natural Resources and the Legislative Contract Oversight Committee. And by the way, Senator Cahey is the youngest member of the Alabama State Senate. The senator played an integral role in helping bring ThyssenKrupp steel to South Alabama. After the giant steel maker decided to bring its jobs to South Alabama, he organized town hall meetings and community gatherings to help ensure the success of this economic development victory. Senator Cahey and his wife Laura have 3 children, so he has a strong personal interest in strengthening his home of Grove Hill, as well as strengthening all our communities. So please join me in giving a warm welcome to Senator Cahey.
Thank you, Madam President. Graduates, parents, family, faculty, staff, Laura, congratulations. It's an honor for me to be here today on your day. My day up to this point has been truly fascinating, and I've enjoyed it. Madam President, I appreciate the invitation, but I do appreciate the opportunity to be here on your day. I'd like to start off by commending Jefferson Davis Community College. And I've observed enough about this college and the leadership that holds positions in the college this morning to talk for days, but my friends behind me wouldn't appreciate it much if I talked much longer than just saying thank you. But I do want to tell them thank you, and y'all really do truly do a great job. And they're committed, and graduates, y'all are fortunate to have attended this college under their leadership. I myself, as Madam President said, am a product of a community college system. Although I realize the rivalry between LBW and Jeff Davis, 10 years later, it's a new respect that I have for that rivalry. 8 years after I graduated from LBW, my second cousin attended Jeff Davis here, and I've joked with some of the others today about how I know exactly the number of miles between here and Jeff Davis Community College, and exactly the number of minutes that it took our bus to travel, because that was what Coach Helms would threaten us with. He would tell us how quick it would take us to get back on the bus, and he would ask us how long would it take us to run back, and we managed to split with Jeff Davis that particular day, thank the Lord. It wasn't long ago that I was sitting where you are, about 10 years ago, and in light of that, and I'm not going to ask any of the parents to raise their hand because it may discredit me a little bit more than I'd like. But if I was to ask the parents and family members and other friends and loved ones that are here of the graduates, how many of you remember your commencement speaker when you graduated from junior college or from four-year college or even got your graduate degree? I can tell you that I have no idea either of the commencement speakers, whether it was law school all the way back to my high school as a senior. And I thought about that earlier this week, and I could have done some research and determined that, but for what it's worth, I wanted to be able to share that with y'all, just so you would know that I realize that I've got my work cut out for me. I, like you, or like many of you, grew up in a small town. Grew up in Grove Hill. Many of you grew up here in Escambia County, and I just want you to know up front that I'm thankful that I had the opportunity and made the decision to come back to the hometown and to this area of the state where I grew up. I think that there's a lot of promise here, and I can tell you that there's a lot of great people that you can count on and that you'll always be able to count on. The longer I live, the more that I realize the impact of something that I think is very important to everyone, very important to life. It's the impact of attitude on life. Attitude, to me, is more important than facts. It's more important than money. It's more important than circumstances. It's more important than failures, than successes. And I realize where I am right now, but I do believe that at times it can be more important than education. Attitude's powerful. Attitude is much more important than what others think. It's much more important than anything that others may say. It's much more important than appearance or skill. Attitude can make or break a company. It's just that powerful. The remarkable thing is that we, you, me, those behind me and everyone behind you, each of us have a choice every day to decide what attitude that we choose to embrace on each particular day that we're blessed to live. No one else has that, has a say-so in that. We have 100% total control of our attitude. It's ours. While we cannot change our past, we cannot change the past of others around us. We cannot change the fact that other people may act a certain way in response to something that we may say. We can't change any of that. But while we cannot change the inevitable, we can do this one simple thing. We can play the hand that we're dealt. And if we do that, that in and of itself will be our attitude. I'm convinced that life is only 10% what happens to me and 90% how I react to what happens to me. And I think that applies to each of you. We're in charge of our attitudes. Attitudes are powerful. Just this past week, or one day last week actually, I realized just how powerful an attitude of a 7-year-old can be. This year is the first opportunity that I've had to still claim to be making a legitimate effort to be my son's Little League head baseball coach at this point in the season. For the past 4 years, I've always started off being the head baseball coach, and very soon thereafter, after we have a few practices and well before the first game arrives, I've had to mold one of the other parents into being the head baseball coach, and more times than not, I've had to do that without them knowing that I was doing it, because they didn't want it. But serving in the legislature, which is has been a blessing to me, the legislative session coincides with Little League baseball, as many of you know, and that required me to be away from practice and games. But what I realized with my son's baseball team last week is we have a 7-year-old on our team. His name's Drayton. He bats cleanup. He's 7 in a 7- and 8-year-old league, and it's coach pitch, but it's a pitch machine, and many of y'all are familiar with that. And you'll know that if you don't strike out, you pretty much get a hit or get on base. There's not a lot of defense that goes on. Well, Drayton being our cleanup hitter, and knowing that the other kids on the team, whether if any of them realize it or if even he realizes it, they look up to him. They respect him, and they're friends with him. Well, in the first inning, when he gets up to bat, he swings at the first pitch and hits a pop-up to the third baseman. Well, the third baseman actually caught the ball in the air, and that's such a shock in this age group that it caused me to really forget that it was Drayton that actually hit the ball. Well, I realized when I observed the way Drayton responded to popping up to the third baseman, that I was quickly reminded that it was Drayton that hit that pop-up. He just really had his feelings on his shoulders. He was moping around like kids do, and we happened to go out the next inning, and maybe even more shocking than the third baseman catching Drayton's ball, we actually had a 3-up, 3-down inning the next inning. Well, whenever the players were running off the field, there was two teammates that were running off the field, and they had tears in their eyes. They were crying. A ball wasn't hit to either one of them that inning. Wasn't one hit to Drayton. And they will never probably ever have any idea why they were crying. But these particular two kids, I know that they look up to Drayton. And, Drayton wasn't crying to make them cry, but his response and the way his attitude changed, it caused such a negative effect on them that you would have thought that we were making them all do homework out there on the playing field. But when they ran off the field, he had tears in his eyes, and I just say that to say this one more time: attitude is powerful. And ladies and gentlemen, graduates, all of you are 10 and 12 years older than that 7-year-old Drayton. And I just want each of you to know that your attitudes are that much more powerful. They can be powerful in a positive sense, and they can be powerful in a negative sense. And just know that you are the only one that has any control whatsoever over your attitude. And that in and of itself makes you some of the most powerful individuals on earth. And there's a lot of people, there's parents here that's in the room right now, and I can say this because I know in a strange way I look up to my son who's 8 years old. He's taught me more than any teacher. I can say that since I went to LBW. He's taught me more than any teacher ever could. And that some of you parents here may be able to say that same thing about your daughter or son here that you're so proud of today. But attitude is a powerful thing. We've talked about attitude. I want to now talk to you real briefly about another thing that you yourself have 100% total control over, and it's your values. Your values is just simply what it is. It's what you value. It's what each of you as an individual value in life. If any of you are like I was when I was your age, I hadn't spent the time to actually put the thought into making a determination of what I actually valued. And I would like to encourage each of you that if you haven't, and even if you have, I'd like to encourage you to, over the coming days and weeks, spend a few moments alone, just thinking, just spend a few moments in thought to determine what you value, what's important to you, what you care about. These are the things that you live for, and they're things that you need to protect. They're things that you would die for if you had to. And the reason it's so important for you to spend this time or do this quickly, to spend some time determining what your values are, is because you need to determine what's important to you. You need to determine what your values are so that you can spend every day protecting them. You need to get up in the morning thinking about what your values are. It can be other people, other friends, and family that's close to you. But whatever they are, just know that they're your values. They're no one else's. I'd like to ask each of you to look just briefly to your right and left at your classmates that sit next to you. If you're sitting between two of your friends and you just looked at the one to your left and the one to your right, you just saw two individuals with values that are different from yours. They may not be very different, and you may know each other enough to think that they're identical, but no one's values are identical. And something that I've learned in the past going on 8 years that I've been fortunate enough to and thankful to so much of you for the opportunity to serve in the legislature. I joked this morning, I think I may be finishing up a 8-year doctorate on working with children and adult bodies. But I say that knowing that I'm one of them, so I'm not being critical of my friends in the legislature. But my point is, while you have your values, everyone else has different values. Their values are important to them, and they're the most important thing to them, just like your values are. And in life, whether it's politics or business or what have you, politics is probably a good example to use. You have Democrats and Republicans. There's everyone in the room here. I'd be shocked if we all wouldn't agree unanimously that we're tired of partisan bickering or partisan politics. There's not any value in that. There's a time and place for it. More times than not, it's in the Senate chamber, and it goes on too much in there. But spending the time that I have in the legislature and campaigning and asking so many of you here and across the Southwest Alabama for your vote and support has taught me that my values as a senator should be related very closely to your values. Government, you'll hear some politicians say that government should be run like a business. And there's arguments you could make that would be true, but I've never really been able to grasp that. I think that government, if it works right, it's more like a service organization. That's what I've enjoyed about serving in the legislature the past short years that I have. It's a fulfilling feeling to serve people. I want to always be in the legislature, and when I'm not, I plan to make an extra effort to determine ways to provide that similar service to the community and people around me, because it's a fulfilling feeling, and life is about what you give and not what you get. So, over the next few days and weeks ahead of you, I want to encourage you to determine what's important to you and spend the rest of your life protecting them. Know what they are, understand them, and I'd like to encourage you to get to know the people that you work with and the people that you're close to. Get to know them so that you know and understand their values as much as you can. And have respect for the values that your colleagues and your coworkers and your friends have. And once you understand that person and their values and have that respect for them and understand that everyone's values are different, your working relationship with them, the success that you have, the attitude that you have, and your life in general will be much more pleasant to have that respect for each other. There's not enough of that goes on in politics, and it's that's why politicians like me have such a bad name, I believe. I'm gonna do something a little bit different now that I wasn't able to do this morning. This morning, I had the blessed opportunity to speak at Holman and Fountain. Your community college here does a fascinating and remarkable thing. They provide education to prisoners at the two facilities here in Escambia County, and they're one of only 5 in the state that does that. And I can tell you there's not any that's jumping stumps wanting to do it. But Jeff Davis does it, and they do a great job, and our state needs it. We all need it. It plays a key role in reducing our overcrowding in our prisons. But it gives these inmates a tool for whenever they get out of prison and join us in the community. They've got a trade that they didn't have before they went in there, and they can provide that service to the community and those of us. But when I use this example or this story that I'm about to share with you, I wasn't able to actually hold a $20 bill because they took all of our money, any that we had in our pocket, whenever we went into prison, when we went in the front door. And that's the only reason that they actually believed me when I told them that I wish if I had $20 in my pocket, I'd be holding it right now, because they know that they would take all that from us. But I want to ask each of you a question. This is $20. I can't hardly see y'all because of the lights, but I assume that y'all can see that that's $20. And whether you believe me or not, because I'm a politician or whatever reason, if you will, let's just assume for these purposes that this is a real $20 bill. And I want to ask each of you this question after saying this. I want to give this $20 bill to one of you, and I'm going to. I hadn't got that pre-approved, but I want to play by Senate rules for a minute if I could. How many of you want this $20 bill? And I'm gonna assume, if I may, that every one of you raised your hand. I should have raised mine too. Laura may take it from me, but maybe not. Okay, I'm going to crumble this $20 bill up in my hand. It's not near as pretty and clean and straight as it was, but it's still the same thing, and I want to ask the same question again. Who wants this $20 bill? Okay. I'm going to throw it on the ground and step on it. These floors are clean, but who wants it now? And you all know the point of this. We all still want this $20 bill because it still has value. It has the same value it had when it was straight and pretty as it does now. And that applies to each of you. It doesn't matter how torn, how beaten or bruised that you may feel, how tired, regardless of the circumstances that you find yourself in anywhere in life, you still have value, each of you do, and you'll never lose it. Now, you're at a great stage in your life. This is your day, and this should be a great and fun day for you. But I think that those behind me would agree that when I told this little short story to the inmates at the two prisons, I think it took on a little different meaning to them because they honestly saw themselves as the $20 bill being crumbled up. They saw themselves being torn and beaten and bruised. And I told them the same thing. They have the same value regardless of what their circumstances are. And they have values just like we do. There's a lot of people that we run across in our everyday life that would call me a lie for saying that some of them in there had value, but they do, just like each of us do. And regardless of where you find yourself in life and who you're working with, regardless of their Democrat, Republican, Auburn, Alabama. Auburn, Alabama may be a better joke than Democrat, Republican. I should have been using it. And I can relate to it because my wife, Laura, is a horrible Auburn fan. Now, I've got an Alabama fan who's my brother who's more horrible as an Alabama fan than she is as an Auburn fan. I said I was going to give somebody a $20 bill. I tried to throw it farther. That looked rude, but regardless of who you find yourself dealing with, Alabama, Auburn, things much more serious. Just keep that in mind. I'm gonna close with this. Lastly, I've made myself well. If I didn't say this earlier, I can honestly say that I've enjoyed every minute that I've served in the legislature, every minute that I've served in the Senate, and I thoroughly have. But for numerous occasions over the past 18 months or so where I caused myself to be miserable, some of you may know I've announced on the last day of the session this year from the floor of the Senate that I wasn't going to seek re-election this year. And whether it's supposed to be this way or not, I'm sure it's not, but that was the toughest decision that I've ever made. And Laura can tell you, and I want to brag on her and the kids for a minute because they handled that just like any candidate would want their spouse and their family to handle it. They were much more encouraging, or at least I felt that they were much more encouraging of running for re-election than not. And that played a big part in the test, I think, that God was putting me through. I first talked to Laura, and I first talked about the possibility of not running really about 18 months ago now. And I went about 4 months after that before I ever mentioned it to anybody. And I never changed my story to anybody I talked to. I never made a public announcement until on the last day of the session this year. I did that without Laura knowing. She knew I wasn't going to run, but she didn't know I was going to make that announcement. She and our 3 wonderful children were there. My mom and dad were there. They didn't know. But I talked to you about the children and adult bodies that I deal with. There's not a member of the Senate that wasn't immediately mad at me for not telling them that I was going to do that. I'd been telling them for 18 months, but I had no clue how not to run for re-election. And I was horrible at it, to the point that I even qualified to run. I didn't have any intention of running for re-election, but I qualified because I didn't know I didn't know what to do as far as not running. Still hadn't sent a press release. I don't know if you're supposed to do that or not, but it made it a lot easier for me if I'd done that a long time ago. But I made that decision. Some of you, if you'll remember, you don't have to remember my name, but if you'll remember this, I guarantee you'll agree with me in about 10 years if you have kids. It is depressing to think about me having a child that's going to be 13 years old at the end of the next quadrennium. It's scary. I've got 2 little girls that I am scared to death about. They're 6 and 2. My 6-year-old Scarlett, she has the worst case of the middle child syndrome that I could ever imagine a child having. Our 2-year-old, Lauren, nicknamed early on Wheezy. Her name's Lauren Louise, but Scarlett terrorized Lauren Louise to the point when she was 2 weeks old that Laura walked by, and after Scarlett had just knocked the little baby seat over, Wheezy was laying on her face. Laura made the comment that it ain't easy being Wheezy. And it stuck, and Wheezy loves it. She's going to wake up one day and not want to be called that, and we'll stop calling her that, but for now, that's her name. But in closing, this is only the second time I said that. I think I said lastly this time, but this is really in closing. Don't compromise your values for any reason, and respect the values of others. And this is something that Laura and I do each night to our children. We call it blessing them whenever they go to bed. I put both my hands on their chest, and I say this, and I want to say it to you. May the Lord bless and keep you. May the Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. May the Lord find favor in you and give you peace. I love you all. God bless every one of you, and good luck.
Will the candidates for the Associate in Arts degree please stand? The faculty of Jefferson Davis Community College certifies that these students have fulfilled all requirements for the Associate in Arts degree.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Alabama State Board of Education, I hereby confer upon you the Associate in Arts degree with all rights, privileges, and responsibilities appertaining thereto.
Please come forward.
Haley A. Etheridge, summa cum laude, Phi Theta Kappa. Elizabeth D. Grandstaff, summa cum laude, Phi Theta Kappa. Alfred W. Johnson. Jordan Haley Madden, cum laude, honors program. Rachel C. Seitz. Jessica Gale Swindle, cum laude.
Graduates may move your tassels to the left.
You may be seated. Will the candidates for the Associate in Science degree please stand? The faculty of Jefferson Davis Community College certifies that these students have fulfilled all requirements for the Associate in Science degree.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Alabama State Board of Education, I hereby confer upon you the Associate in Science degree with all rights, privileges, and responsibilities appertaining thereto.
Please come forward.
Shanetta Nicole Adams. Lindsay Diane Baker, magna cum laude, Phi Theta Kappa, and the honors program. Sydney Diane Bell, cum laude, Phi Theta Kappa, and the honors program. Teresa Ann Adams, summa cum laude. Megan Moy Boutwell. April Danielle Brantley. Ashley Gwynn Bridges, summa cum laude, in the honors program. Twana German Cartagena Zamora. Heather Catherine Cox, summa cum laude. Arnika Tasha Crittenden. Corey Cunningham. Ashlyn Janae Enfinger. Hunter Allen Franklin. Brandon Philip Goddard, summa cum laude, Phi Theta Kappa and the Honors Program. Skylar Brooke Guest, summa cum laude and Phi Theta Kappa. Brittany Leanne Holloway, cum laude, Phi Theta Kappa. Hunter Joseph Jernigan, Phi Theta Kappa and the Honors Program. Fabrice O'Hara Jones. Tiffany Lakeisha Keith. Caitlin Ann Marie Kenfield, cum laude and Phi Theta Kappa. Tyler Alexander Nelms, Phi Theta Kappa and the Honors Program. Anna Nicole Nelson, magna cum laude in the Honors Program. Jamaica Bessie Marie North, cum laude, Phi Theta Kappa and the Honors Program. Sherman James Roundtree. Mariah LaDawn Simmons, Phi Theta Kappa and the Honors Program. Quentin Devon Simpson. Dakota Douglas Walker. Jasmine D. Wright, summa cum laude, Phi Theta Kappa and the Honors Program. Laura Grace Ziegers, cum laude, Phi Theta Kappa. Sarah Diane Ziegler, summa cum laude, Phi Theta Kappa and the Honors Program.
At this time, the Associate in Science graduates may move your tassels to the left.
You may be seated. Will the candidates for the Associate in Applied Science degree please stand? The faculty of Jefferson Davis Community College certifies that these students have fulfilled all requirements for the Associate in Applied Science degree.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Alabama State Board of Education, I hereby confer upon you the Associate in Applied Science degree with all rights, privileges, and responsibilities appertaining thereto.
Please come forward.
Angela Bell, nursing, cum laude, and Phi Theta Kappa. Celeste Lee Campbell, nursing, cum laude, and Phi Theta Kappa. Colby Shea Cobb, nursing, Phi Theta Kappa, and the honors program. Amber Megan Cook, nursing. Tawana Colbreth, Office Administration. Heather Dawn Eller, Office Administration, summa cum laude, and Phi Theta Kappa. Anithia Fuller, nursing. Katie Alexandria Gilmore, nursing. William O. Gonzalez, Drafting and Design Technology. Sarah Griffith, Nursing. Andrea Hemsath, Nursing, Phi Theta Kappa. Amber Lynn McNeil, Nursing. Jessica L. Parr, Nursing and Phi Theta Kappa. Fahamisha Robinson, Nursing and Phi Theta Kappa. Angela Marie Stedham, Office Administration. Jessica M. Sutton, Nursing. Rhonda Denise Tolbert, Office Administration. Megan Leah Weaver, Nursing.
At this time, associate and applied science graduates may move their tassels to the left.
You may be seated. Will the candidates for the certificate please stand? The faculty of Jefferson Davis Community College certifies that these students have fulfilled all requirements for the certificate.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Alabama State Board of Education, I hereby confer upon you the certificate with all rights, privileges, and responsibilities appertaining thereto.
Please come forward.
Zach Chavers, Welding Technology with Distinction and Phi Theta Kappa. Paul E. Coleman, Welding Technology with Distinction. Josh E. Hochstetler, Welding Technology with Distinction. Michael Lee, Welding Technology. Victoria M. Miller, Welding Technology. Jerry Thicklin, Welding Technology. Markeith Daniels, Arkeem Wright, Welding Technology. Nicholas Cartagena Zamora.
At this time, certificate graduates may move their tassels to the left.
You may be seated. Will the candidates for the Alabama High School Equivalency Diploma please stand? The state of Alabama certifies that these students have fulfilled all requirements for the Alabama High School Equivalency Diploma.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Alabama State Board of Education, I hereby confer upon you the Alabama High School Equivalency Diploma with all rights, privileges, and responsibilities appertaining thereto.
Please come forward.
Talanisha M. Arnold. Marilee Caitlin Bell. Phyllis K. Bennett. Tamara Monique Bowens. Hannah Nicole Chandler. Sean Michael Armand Gibson. Kadra Hale. Mallory Faith Halford. Chelsea M. Hatfield. Christy Lynn Jordan. Kelly L. Miller. Tadeus K. Randolph. Christopher Michael Wayne Reed. Rhonda Faye Rogers. Colton Levi Singleton. Justin Riley Trishelle. Mark S. Ward.
At this time, the Alabama High School Equivalency Diploma graduates may move your tassels to the left.
You may be seated.
May we all please stand for the benediction, please. Dear God, please let your grace shine on these students that are graduating today. Protect those that have gathered here to celebrate with us. Lead them all with confidence into this new stage in their lives. For those who have not decided what they want to do, help them to find their true calling and give them the ability to persevere to obtain their highest goal. Give their families and friends the strength to celebrate and the passing of a milestone in their lives. Also give them comfort in knowing that they will always be in our hearts. Guide them that they might know love and success in whatever they do after graduation. Watch over them and keep them safe today and tomorrow in their lives as we go our separate ways. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.